Hey, welcome. When we talk about being a good person, what do we really mean? Is it about ticking off boxes on some kind of cosmic to do list, following all the rules? Or is it something deeper, something about who you are on the inside? That's what we're going to get into today, this whole idea of doing good versus being good.
So just think about it for a second. Is your main focus in life just trying not to mess up, following the letter of the law? Or is it about actually shaping your character into something better? This is the big question we're going to unpack, and we're starting with a story that just nails this idea perfectly.
All right, to really get a feel for this difference, let's talk about a guy named Joe. His life took such a wild turn that he literally became the poster child for goodness in someone else's eyes. Now, before this big change, Joe was, well, he was at rock bottom. The source material calls him a dirty wino, basically a guy that everyone had completely written off. And you gotta understand that to really appreciate how incredible his transformation really was. But then, boom, everything flipped. Joe became the absolute heart and soul of the mission where he lived. And he wasn't just doing good deeds, he was radiating this incredible spirit of service. I'm talking cleaning up the nastiest messes you can imagine, and doing it all with a huge smile, just grateful to be able to help. His actions were just pouring out of this new person he'd become. And this is where the story gives you chills. One night, another guy shows up. He's broken, he's desperate, and he wants to pray. But he doesn't ask for money or for a job. He looks over at Joe, this living, breathing example of a good person, and he just cries out, "Oh God, make me like Joe." So the director of the mission, trying to be helpful, gently says, "Son, I think you mean you want to be like Jesus." And the man's response is the whole point of the story. He looks up all confused and asks this simple, honest question about Jesus. Is he like Joe? See, for him, goodness wasn't some abstract idea up in the clouds. It had a face, and that face was Joe's.
Wow, so Joe's story shows us how a good character can be an inspiration. Now let's look at a different story that shows how that character gets tested. We're jumping from a city mission to the crazy pressure of a national spelling bee. But you'll see the theme is exactly the same. Okay, picture this. You've got 11-year-old Rosalie Elliott. She's on a huge stage in Washington, D.C. at the National Spelling Bee. The pressure is on, and they ask her to spell the word avowal. So she spells it, but she has a bit of a southern accent, and it kind of makes one of the letters sound fuzzy. The judges are stuck. They play the audio back over and over, but they just can't tell for sure if she said A or E. The rules, the recordings, none of it could give them an answer.
So here's the pivotal moment. The chief judge turns to the one and only person in the world who knows the truth. He looks right at Rosalie and asks her, point blank, if she spelled it correctly. Suddenly, the whole competition wasn't about spelling anymore. It was about her integrity. I mean, think about that pressure for a second. She could have easily lied and maybe won the whole thing. But what does she do? Without even hesitating, she says she got it wrong. And the reaction is just incredible. The entire room, reporters, judges, everyone, jumps to their feet for a standing ovation. They weren't clapping for a speller, they were clapping for her character. So you have Joe, the man who became goodness itself for someone, and Rosalie, the girl whose integrity was more impressive than any trophy. These two stories, from two totally different worlds, are pointing us to the same powerful conclusion. Who we are is way more important than just what we do. Let's just break it down side by side. The rules-focused life is always asking, what am I supposed to do? And for that person, success is just obedience. But the character-focused life, the one we see in Joe and Rosalie, it has a totally different question. Who am I supposed to become? For that person, success is all about internal transformation. And this is where the source material kind of flips the script on us. We're so used to looking at a set of rules and asking, okay, what's the point of all this? But what if we've been asking the wrong question all along? What if the real question isn't what's the point, but who's the point? The idea is that the rules aren't the destination. They're supposed to be a window into the character of the person who made them. In fact, the source we're looking at gets really specific about this. It defines the goal not just as acting right, but as a total alignment of how you think, feel, and act. And the whole purpose of it all? To recreate in us the character of our Lord. It's right there in black and white. It's about becoming, not just doing. Okay, so if the goal really is to build character, what does that character even look like? Is there like a blueprint? Well, the source material points to a very specific list of qualities.
And here it is, from the book of Galatians. I want you to pay close attention to the language here. It doesn't say the rules of the Spirit are. It says the fruit. What's fruit? It's something that grows naturally when a tree is healthy. These aren't rules to follow. They're qualities that just start to show up when your character is transformed. And that last part is so powerful. Against such there is no law. A person who is genuinely kind and patient doesn't need a rule telling them not to be a jerk. So here's that blueprint we were talking about. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. You'll notice right away, these aren't things you can just check off a to-do list. They're qualities. They're ways of being that then shape every single thing you do. This isn't a to-do list, it's a to-be list.
Now, all of this sounds great, but let's get real. How does this work in our messy, complicated, everyday lives? Let's try putting this whole character-based idea to the test with a quick ethical problem. So imagine you're in a store. You see a little kid, maybe 7 or 8 years old, and he slips a small toy into his pocket. Nobody else sees him. No alarms go off. It's just you. What do?
If you're only thinking about rules, the answer is pretty simple. Stealing is wrong. I should tell someone, right? But if you're trying to live by character, by that blueprint of love, kindness, and goodness, it gets way more complicated. How do you balance justice for the store with kindness for the child? A character-based choice isn't about a simple right or wrong answer. It's about trying to find the wisest, most loving, and best possible outcome for everyone involved.
And this all leads us to what might be the ultimate call to action in all of this. It's this powerful idea. Don't just go with the flow. Don't just conform to the patterns of the world around you. Instead, be transformed from the inside out. It's saying the change has to start in your mind, in who you are, not just in what you do.
So, as we finish up here, I just want to leave you with this one thought. It is so easy to get caught up in the rule books and the checklists of life. But what we've seen today challenges us to go deeper. The most important question isn't just what did I do right or wrong today? It's who am I choosing to become today?